Good morning, cadets. Hope all of you are fine. Today I'll be taking up the chapter The Midnight Visitor by Robert Arthur. The theme of the story is appearances can be deceptive. Somebody has aptly said appearances can be deceptive. In the story, we have Fowler as a young and romantic writer. Ossibel was a secret agent, a detective. So Fowler wanted to meet Ossibel. He had imagined that he would encounter mysterious figures during night and hear the crack of pistols. But when he met Ossibel in a gloomy French hotel, Fowler felt disappointed. Ossibel was a sloppy, fat man who was spending a dull evening in a French music hall. He felt Ossibel led an uninteresting and unadventurous life, but Fowler was in for surprised. A man named Max was inside Ossibel's room with a pistol in his hand. Ossibel at once proved that he possessed qualities of a true detective. He told him about a balcony below the window and about the police knocking at the door. Max believed him and jumps from the window thinking that there is a balcony below but falls to the ground. So a fat, sloppy man had been able to outsmart his opponent without as much as lifting his finger. This proves the statement that appearances or looks can definitely be deceptive. The story has been written by Robert Arthur. The story narrates an incident from the life of a secret agent and how he helps to get a glimpse on the dangers that they face in the course of their work. The Midnight Visitor by Robert Arthur. The story revolves around three characters, two rival spies named Ossibel and Max, one mystery writer, Fowler. Ossibel is a chubby, lethargic, messy, and clumsy man, while Max is a slender and rugged, like a James Bond figure. But Ossibel is very fat, clumsy, and messy. He does not have a detective look, while Max looks like a James Bond, slender and rugged. So let's find out what is the suspense in the story. Ossibel was a secret agent in an organization. He was a fat man with strange accent. He was an American and could speak German and French fluently. He lived in a small room on the top floor of French hotel in Paris. Fowler was a young and romantic writer. The story is short but intriguing insight into the life of a spy, which may not be as glamorous as in movies but still full of danger and suspense. One day, Fowler visited Ossibel in the hope of finding some unusual happenings. He was also a spy and dealt in danger. However, when he met Ossibel, he was disappointed by his fat and round appearance. Ossibel and Fowler spent the evening in a French music hall. Fowler was feeling bored. Ossibel informed him that he would receive an important paper. The paper might affect the course of history. It had also made many men and women risk their lives. He had got a telephone call making an appointment in his room. Ausable meets a writer fascinated by spies and secrets. So, Fowler is a writer who loves spies and secrets. Maybe he is a James Bond fan. Ausable was expecting a sensitive document to arrive that night, so asks Fowler to follow him through the night. Disappointed by Ausable's appearance and mannerism, Fowler agrees to do the same. Suddenly, Ausable gets a phone call regarding someone who had entered his hotel room. Alarmed but not overly worried, he beckons Fowler to follow him to his room. The room was in the sixth floor. As they enter the room, they are startled by a pistol toting individual staring at them. It is Max, the rival spy of Ausable. He asks them to enter and lock the room. He threatens Ausable and warns him to hand over the documents to him as soon as they arrive at his room later that night. So, Ausable takes Fowler to his room. Ausable switched on the light after closing the door. There was a man with a pistol standing halfway across the room. Fowler was thrilled. Ausable was surprised to see Max. Max is another secret agent belonging to another organization in his room. On being asked, Max asked and informed him that he had come there at this odd hour to take some report with some new missiles description in it. So, why did Max come to his room? He wanted a report about some new missiles that was lying with Ausable. Ausable sat in an armchair in a serious and angry mood. He started saying that it was the second time in a month somebody had got into the room through a balcony. So, this is the turning point and the twist of the story. He has understood that Max has come into his room and he has a pistol, so he has to use the presence of mind to save his life. So he starts telling that this is the second time somebody has come to his room using a balcony. The best part of Ausable's character was he remained calm, peaceful, and composed in any situation. A man is there in his room with a pistol, but he was playing rather composed, and Ausable sat down and talked something different. He starts complaining about the balcony window that he thought Max used to break into his room. So that is the beauty of Ausable's character. He did not get tensed. Instead, he sat down on a chair and was talking about how people are entering his room using a balcony. But Max says that he had used the master key to get inside, and had he known about the balcony, he would have used that instead. So he said that he did not know that Ausable's room had a balcony. He had used a master key. Ausable reiterates that he had complained to the management about the balcony window several times and has had a previous break-ins. So Ausable is saying that he had even complained to the society management that my balcony is used by many people to enter my room. Something or some solution has to be taken. Now, Max did not have any knowledge about the balcony in Osable's room. He reported that he had a master key, but Osable explained that the balcony belonged to the next apartment, which used to be the living room. The balcony extended under his window. The management also has not blocked the balcony, so intruders or unknown people are getting into his apartment using the balcony. As all of you know, there is a third person also in the room, Mr. Fowler. And Mr. Fowler was listening to the conversation very intently. Suddenly, there was a loud clamor at the door. Osable suggests that it must be the police that had arranged to keep the documents. Now, Mr. Fowler was getting interested in the conversation between Max and Osable. Suddenly, what happens? There was a knock at the door of the room. Fowler jumped at sudden knocking. So, Fowler was thinking, who will come at this time? Osable coolly said that the police were at the door. He had asked them to check in so that they can keep his report, which was very important, safe with them. So Osable is saying he had already informed the police about the documents and they were unsafe in his room. So he wanted the help of the police. Max did not want Osable or Fowler to open the door. But Osable told Max that the police would enter the room anyway and shoot if he did not open the door, because he had called the police, and if he does not open the door, police will enter forcibly. Max gets very anxious what to do and asks Osable to turn them away while he hides in the balcony. Now Max is in tension, so he says that Osable, please keep the police busy, and he will hide in the balcony. He threatens to shoot if he smells any trickery. So if Osable tries to cheat him, he will shoot. As soon as Max leaps outside the window, he yells out of horror as he crashes to the road below. So now Max tries to jump out of the window and land in the balcony. But what happens? To his horror, he lands to the road below. Max is very angry and then starts backing swiftly towards the window. He opened the window with one hand and wanted to escape through the balcony. He informed Osable that he would wait on the balcony. He would shoot and take his chances if Osable did not send the police away. The knocking grew louder and somebody called Osable. Repeatedly, police was shouting, Osable, Osable, open the door. And Max dropped to the balcony, screamed loudly, and he landed in the road below. The room had no balcony after all. The next door opens. Fowler sees a waiter holding Osable's drinks rather than any policeman. Fowler is relieved and impressed by Osable's presence of mind. So he realizes that appearances can be deceptive, looks can truly be deceiving. So Osable invents or cooks the story of the balcony so that Max would be tempted to use it when there is a knock at the door Osable informs Max that police has arrived to check whether he and his documents are safe or not. On hearing this, Max decides to use the balcony. Osable made Max believe that the police was knocking at the door, so Max jumps from the window without examining, and he fell down to the ground from the sixth floor of the room. So there is no doubt that presence of mind is very important and essential. Osable was very unimpressive, unassuming man, not very handsome. He was a fat person, but with his presence of mind, he saved his and Fowler's life. Because of Osable's alertness and presence of mind, both of them were saved. He was able to outsmart his opponent Max without even lifting his finger. So his presence of mind proved to Fowler that appearances can be misleading and one should never judge a book by its cover. That is a very good message given by the theme of the story. The Midnight Visitor is a very thrilling account of a secret agent Osable. Osable did not fit any description of a secret agent. When we think about a secret agent or a detective, the image that comes to our mind is that of a handsome James Bond. But Osable was not like that. He was a fat man and he was not very good looking. He did not live up to the romantic picture of a secret agent that we read in books or see in films. He was rather fat and sloppy. He lived in a very small room on the sixth floor. However, Osable was gifted with a rare presence of mind. He was very intelligent. He was quick of action. His fertile mind could invent and cook up stories and situations that would confuse and unnerve his rivals. He cooked up the story of the balcony below the window of his room and the arrival of the police. He outwitted and outsmarted his rival and secret agent Max, who had come to take away a very important paper concerning some new missiles. Through his presence of mind, Osable was able to get rid of his rival Max. So the story clearly shows that appearances can be deceptive and one can save one's life with the help of presence of mind. Now let us take up the character sketch of Osable. He is a different kind of secret agent. Generally, secret agents described in the books or shown in the films are very smart and gun friendly. Wine and dark eyed beauties are associated with them. However, Osable does not present such a romantic picture. He was very fat and sloppy. Physically, he might be fat, but mentally, he was very agile and quick witted. He knows all the tricks of his trade. He is very quick in action, reaction, and can cook up stories that can fit in all kinds of situations. He convinces even the crafty and cunning Max that there is a balcony below the window of his room.
A very pleasant morning, one and all present over here, respected Asha ma'am and all my dear friends. Today, it's Sacred Nikhil Kumar from Vijayanagaras going to speak on topic Don't Bite the Hand That Feeds You. Don't bite the hand that feeds you is a very beautiful saying and well said saying to convey. For the better convenience and understanding of this saying, I have decided to narrate a story. The story goes on like this. There lived an old man with his dog since many years in a cottage. The old man was very kind and fed for the dog everything he can. One day, while playing, dog unfortunately fell into a well. After so much time, the old man came to know about this and rushed towards the well. As he came towards the well, he kept his hand in the well to pull his dog out of the danger. As he did this, his dog bit him very hard as he was very hungry. But it is not correct to bite the hand who has fed you since many years. As he did this, the old man became very sad and pulled his dog out of the well and left him there itself and went to his home. This must not be there in one's mind as it can cause havoc in the future for him like the dog's case. The proverb means that you act badly towards the person who has did good for you and even doing good for you. You are biting the hand that feeds you. Then you are becoming very unpredictable, unappreciative, unthankful, ungrateful, and lots of unwords for your names. In other words, you are trying to turn against, attack, or even harm the person who has helped you since many years. Let's say someone comes to your place of business and want to offer you a great job than what you are doing. But first you tell yes for the job and behave good for him. After the job is over, you start to behave rude for him and start to scold for him. This won't work. It means that you are trying to bite the hand who has helped you. At last, I want to say that don't try to don't try to harm the person who has lifted you up, as they themselves has lifted you up. No one can pull you down. At last, I want to say thanks. Thank you.
Morning to everyone. Today it's our cadet Lakshmi going to speak upon the topic the National Cadet Corps. The National Cadet Corps is the organization which is regulated under the Ministry of Defense. It acts as a body to provide the basic military training that inculcates the feeling of comradeship, courage, honesty, and above all the patriotism. It came into force in 1948 with a view to impact the feeling of rudimentary skill and training in handling of weapons of different type and making them physically tough such that they could face the hardship. NCC training is given to the student in the age group of 13 to 26 in school and colleges. It is given in army, naval and air force stream depending upon the aptitude of the students. NCC training is imparted into two divisions, senior division and the junior division. Senior division, it is composed of three wings, the army, the naval and the air force wings. The minimum tenure of service for a cadet in the senior division is of 4 years. The unit is raised in the colleges. Junior division, in the secondary and senior secondary schools and the public school, junior division have been raised. It comprises in three units, army, navy and air force. There is enormous benefit associated with this training, such as character building, friendship development, punctuality, honesty, sense of readiness, sense of responsibility, confidence. Hence, these are the few listed qualities which young students develop from this training. Even there are lots of benefit is derived by the student in job and priority is set for NCC holder. Government of India expends much in the NCC organization because it is offered without any charge. Even the student is given the free uniform, fooding and lodging facility is also given to the NCC student. Thereby government burden is tightened in the training. The Major General is the authority who leads this organization and all the military personnel is employed in the training. Hence, rule of discipline is developed in the student. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.